am Dave Bean. I'm the Chief Operating Officer of Gear. So my primary job is to work on business development, partnerships, lead legal strategy, regulatory strategy, and other just operational kinds of things to run the business. I joined the project back in January of 2022. Excuse me. Yeah, I joined crypto full time. So I guess maybe let's start in the beginning. A brother of mine and I got interested in crypto and started mining Bitcoin back in 2013. Had some huge ASIC miners that were running in the back of a house, and we were just kind of hobbyists. Fast forward 2017, I was working in tech at the time and wanted to make the jump into crypto full time, and I reconnected with a guy named Balaji Srinivasan, who was co-founded a previous genomics company that I worked at with him. Then he left and ran the Stanford Bitcoin Club, and then he had co-founded a company called 21.co, which had a couple of pivots, but it ended up becoming what is known now as earn.com. And I joined him in 2017 doing that. So it was basically a inbox where you got paid in Bitcoin to do simple tasks. So ended up joining crypto full-time in 2017 after kind of being a hobbyist for a few years. After joining earn.com in 2017, we were running that business for about a year, and then earn.com was acquired by Coinbase in 2018. So I joined when Coinbase was about 200 employees back in 2018. While I was there, I kind of carved out a specialty of being sort of a go-to-market specialist for new businesses that were SaaS and services revenue businesses. So, Coinbase makes most of its money, and its core business is really on the trading side, both on the retail and the institutional side. But anytime that there were other kinds of businesses that they could go to market, I sort of became the person. So I ended up leading go to market and building out the teams for several business units there. The first one was the Coinbase Learning Rewards program. So that was originally called Coinbase Earn, where you watch a video and earn a couple of dollars worth of crypto for learning about new cryptocurrencies. And then sometimes we had situations where people could do simple tasks or quests or whatever to earn some crypto. So after kind of launching Earn and creating a business out of that, also launched Coinbase Analytics, which is a suite of data and compliance services. Coinbase Commerce, which is merchant payments tooling. And then the last thing that I was working on before leaving was a kind of treasury management product for crypto teams to help manage treasury using the institutional platform. So really kind of worked across multiple different businesses across like sales, BD, and working through the go-to-market motion. And a part of that, I should also mention that I was, with my responsibilities with Coinbase Earn, I was very closely linked with the listings process at Coinbase as well. So, helped shepherd new projects through the listings process and help them kind of navigate that within Coinbase. So Gear is a substrate-based chain, and the Polkadot ecosystem is an ecosystem that really is built to last. Like, you think about what the sort of end game for crypto is, and the way that every other project is moving is some version of what Polkadot started to build in 2016. So they're a modular blockchain, they have sharding, they're this scalable platform, they have shared security and interoperability. So all these things that existing projects have been trying to retroactively fix about their networks, not because their networks were bad, but because they have certain limitations on scale and performance. And new networks are kind of leveraging some of these narratives to to solve some of these problems in other ecosystems as well. And Polkadot certainly doesn't have a corner on the market of block space, but I think I was very I have a lot of confidence in Polkadot, the technology, and the ecosystem long term. So I definitely knew that I wanted to get into this ecosystem. And during my time at Coinbase, I had met and worked with a lot of different crypto founders, people that had founded DeFi projects and L1 protocols and NFT projects and all these different kinds of projects. And I knew that I wanted to work on something that was a little bit more of an infrastructure project. And so I was looking for somebody who was just really, really tenured and very smart and had a lot of competence in this area. And through some mutual connections, I got connected with Nikolai, who's the CEO of Gear. And after a few months worth of conversations and some work trials and just kind of testing the waters, I gained a lot of confidence, not just in what he was built and kind of his credibility and background, as one of the first parity core developers who built Polkadot and Substrate, and a pretty strong track record. But he had also done a great job building a team and a system of developers and attracting really, really strong developer talent to help build his vision. And so when I saw that, and I saw that my skills as a business person and somebody who can do partnerships and that kind of thing, it just felt like a really nice marriage of talents. And so decided to come on board in January of 2022. I think Polkadot has a very unique position from the standpoint that because of the shared security guarantees and the just the way that it's built at a fundamental level, it has the degree of sort of like security and performance that I think are going to power a lot of enterprise applications, and really kind of it's built to be a very robust platform that can handle Web 2 like applications and scale. And so I think that what I'm really excited to see is, like, I think Polkadot's done a really good job building a lot of the primitives, but I also think that there's a lot of room for new kinds of applications and more experimental things. So let me just take one step back. Polkadot's amazing for the shared security guarantees and interoperability. The one thing that I think has been a challenge so far is the fact that it just is a pretty high friction process to become a parachain and deploy into Polkadot. And so Gear, as a substrate-based chain, is compatible as a parachain, and I think it plays a really, really important role being a platform where people can come and build and deploy applications and find product market fit. And then they can either continue to live on Gear or maybe potentially migrate to a parachain, or there's a lot of different opportunities at that point. And so I think that what Gear can offer to the Polkadot ecosystem specifically is a little bit more of a experimental platform that's very, very high performance, where next generation applications can come and be built. Yeah, I mean, you have to build a blockchain, and Substrate makes that easier, but it's somewhere between kind of doing a fork of Uniswap and launching a new DEX on Ethereum. That's like relatively easy, at least from a coding standpoint. And building Polkadot, like, there's somewhere in between is the degree of difficulty to build a blockchain to deploy as a parachain, and that process usually takes somewhere between 6 and 12 months, and a lot of money to secure the parachain slot. And so we're us and some other sort of like smart contract platforms are working hard to lower those barriers to entry to get more developers launching applications, so that we'll just get more users and more applications broadly in the Polkadot ecosystem, which will help bootstrap the community more broadly. There's a few things that I'm really excited for that Parity's working on in terms of developing Polkadot. One of them is asynchronous backing, which will allow a couple of things, especially with Gear's infrastructure. It will allow Gear to execute on-chain finality and fit multiple blockchain or multiple blocks into a single Polkadot block. What that'll do is it'll allow us to decrease the latency and increase the throughput that we can get as a parachain on Polkadot. So excited about that. The other thing that I'm just more broadly excited about is Parathreads, which will allow pay-as-you-go renting of security from the Polkadot network as another lower barrier to entry way for people to build and deploy into Polkadot. And so those are the two things that I'm really excited for, specifically because it allows the Gear protocol, when deployed as in a parachain instance, to really kind of take advantage of the full capabilities of the platform itself. And so, previously, I just don't think that Polkadot's quite ready to, support the amount of transaction throughput that the Gear protocol can do. But some of these new developments are very promising for the future performance of our network as a parachain. I mean, the bear market's been not kind for a lot of folks, right? So like TVL and transactions and things in DeFi across Ethereum and Solana and all sorts of ecosystems are down 70 to 90%. And so I don't think anybody's walking away from this bear market unscathed. Brian Armstrong used to say something that I think about a lot and have learned to be true from, 5-6 years now in crypto full time, which is things are never as bad as they seem and they're never as good as they seem. So during bull markets, we have these huge run-ups and everything seems really, really exciting and we kind of get ahead of the technology. In bear markets, everyone is overly pessimistic. And so I think that it's really, really critical in a bear market to frankly prepare for a bull market by building strong, secure, scalable solutions that will be able to withstand the inevitable rise in interest that we'll see during the next cycle, and we've seen multiple times over. Because during bull markets is when you really, really start to see the underlying problems with various products. Whether it's gas fees getting up to hundreds of dollars per transaction, or it costing all this money to mint NFTs or whatever. That's like a fundamental problem that needs to be fixed in the bear market to prepare for the bull cycle. So there's really, really no better time to start preparing for future interest in crypto than when there's just frankly not quite as much interest for the industry, which for those who are for those who are wise, it's the best time to be in crypto because you get the most done, frankly. One of the things about the Gear protocol is it's designed to be a future-proof platform, and what that means is, we've been looking at this, and without talking too much about ZK, I mean, we're not a ZK chain, but for example, you could put run decentralized sequencers on Gear, and so there's a possibility that ZK applications could live on Gear, and there's other ecosystems that are exploring sort of like WASM-based ZK implementations, and so we're certainly not the only ones working on it. So one of the hallmarks of a good kind of layer one platform is being able to upgrade with technology and being adaptable. And So, as right now we have a very, very high throughput, low latency chain that allows for asynchronous parallel computation. And that's really powerful today. Whatever new technologies come out in the future, the platform's adaptable to be able to support some of these new kinds of blockchains and applications. And so we're positioned really, really well for the long term to be able to adapt with changing technology. That's a great question. I touch grass every once in a while. No, when I'm not in front of a computer or online or on chain, really the things that I do is I surf. So I found that getting out into the ocean, dealing with the waves, having the adrenaline rush of catching waves and being out in the ocean is a very, very quick way to de-stress from being on chain all day. So that's like the first thing. And then wintertime, do some skiing and winter sports and stuff like that. So I think it's really, really critical to take moments, a few minutes or potentially a couple of hours a day, to just clear the mind, and so that you're ready to attack crypto once again, and not burn out, because I've seen a lot of folks just burn out because of how high demand this industry is basically a 24/7 industry.
Yeah, I know that. And I still remember your swimming in Italia. Pretty cool. It's cold
That's
winter.
right. I do cold plunges from time to time. In fact, I try to do a cold plunge, 2 to 3 times a week. And yeah, there was we were hiking in Antalya, and there was water runoff that, from snow melting, and decided to take a swim in the river because it had been a few days since I had had a nice cold plunge. So it's a good way to de-stress.
Cool guy. And I also took a picture of that.
Yeah. There's a few people that took videos. Some of them are pretty funny. Some of the commentary is the best part of those videos, for sure.
Yeah, exactly.
We do have a very globally distributed team. So many of the team are in Turkey and sort of the European region. We have many folks in China and the Asian region, and then folks in the US as well. I work with folks on the East Coast and all over the place. And so the thing that I've really found to be critical to be productive are a couple of things. The first thing is time boxing. So whenever I have a task or I need to get something done, I'll just allocate a very, very aggressive amount of time to get it done. And I'll shut out every other distraction and just plow through the work. Because then you can also just be done with that thing and check it off. And it's one less thing that you have to keep in your mind. So that's a critical thing. I also make abundant use of like do not disturb mode on my computer and phone, so that I can, periodically come and check in on messages and other things, but that I have blocks of uninterrupted time where I can think and do deep work. And then also limiting social media as well, especially when there's bad news that comes out, and it's really easy to doom scroll and just to kind of get stuck on Twitter, just seeing how bad the fallout of like an FTX implosion or a Terra implosion or whatever it could be. Having specific time windows that you look at that stuff is, it's table stakes for maintaining productivity during tumultuous times in crypto.
Yeah. And sometimes I also have the same feeling. So I will use some small tools to arrange my time, my working time and my relaxing time. So that would be better because I still have a little time to do my own things.
Yeah, having something that obligates you, like, when I'm not in the ocean, I'll go to a pool and swim, and there's only like a couple of hours a day that I can actually get that done. And so,
Mm-hmm.
it's like blocking 11 to noon to go swim is like, a really um forces me out of the house, which is a good thing. If I had 3 months,
Mm-hmm.
um, that's actually a great question. I've thought about
Yeah.
this in terms of um, I wouldn't necessarily learn how to code because I know that it would be informative to go down that rabbit hole, but like I know that I just couldn't make any really meaningful progress in
Mm-hmm.
3 months. Um, Actually, I would like learn how to like better just like read what's going on in code without necessarily being able to write it. Um,
Mm-hmm.
I would probably dedicate myself. It's like basically like learning a foreign language in a way. But yeah, I'd probably dedicate myself to that. There is a lot of fake news on Twitter,
Mm-hmm.
but if you go to like the source materials, like following the accounts of projects that you are interested in, reading their blogs, and that kind of thing, I think that's like a really, really valuable, uh, you know, thing to do in crypto, and just to generally stay informed about what's happening in the space, because it you know uh changes every day.
Mm-hmm.
um I think, I mean, for the Polkadot ecosystem specifically, Rob Habermeyer is a really good writer, and I think he's extremely technically knowledgeable, but also like can consolidate some of his ideas into good writing as well, and that's like pretty rare.
Mm-hmm.
So Rob's a great follow on Twitter, both on Twitter and on his blogs. So
Yeah.
yeah, I mean, I would still, uh, there's newsletters that are great to kind of follow, but like I always try to get back down to the source material. So newsletters like help me find what to potentially look at. But reading sort of like original source materials is always the thing that I try to get to at the end of the day. I would just say future is bright. The Gear protocol is the fundamentals are great. It's a very scalable platform. It's built in a great ecosystem. And
Mm-hmm.
again, the future-proof nature of the network itself and the platform will be able to adapt with anything that kind of comes our way in crypto. And so the future is bright with Gear and Vara Network. There's a lot of ways to get involved with Gear. We have Gear
Mm-hmm.
Academy, which is an onboarding platform to teach you the basics of how to build applications on Gear.
Yeah.
So that's a great resource. Look for us at conferences. We hold lots of hackathons. We do virtual hackathons. We do in-person hackathons. We've got great communities distributed across the globe. Come to meetups, follow us on Twitter. There's lots of ways that you can engage with the community. And even, we love app developers and we want as many people building on Gear as possible. We also love people that just like crypto, who want to see what's next and what the future is going to be in crypto, and want to see great dApps be developed and be users of them. So, whether you're technical or not, there's lots of different ways to get involved. The last thing that I will mention is on Discord, we do have the ambassador program that's run by the Gear Foundation.
Yeah.
And, whether you're a designer, whether you're a translator, whether you can organize local community meetups, or a developer, or can run nodes or run validators, there's some way that you can get involved, or potentially multiple ways to get involved. And so we would encourage you to do so, to engage with our team in that way as well.